Fair warning, there are spoilers ahead, and if you don't want the game spoiled, then pause the video and come back later once you finish the game. In most video games you play, there will be some mechanism of health and damage. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is no different in this case. This game can be fairly punishing in terms of where the damage comes from, depending on the difficulty you play on. More interestingly, however, is that HP has a drastic effect on what the player is able to achieve during speedruns. This is because oftentimes during speedruns, the player uses their HP as a resource to damage boost through sections that aren't supposed to be passable during a casual playthrough. Luckily, in Ori and the Will of the Wisps, you can acquire an ability to help regain health after you've taken damage. This ability is called Regenerate, and it's the topic of today's Skill Spotlight. Regenerate is a non-upgradable ability acquired from one of the ancestral trees located in Inkwater Marsh as you exit Howl's Den. The basics of the ability allow you to heal up to 3 life cells for 1 energy. However, you can't overheal and will only heal to the max life that you have obtained up to that point in the game. This is somewhat similar to the regroup ability found in Ori and the Blind Forest, which heals 1 life cell when the player creates a save file, for the cost of 1 energy. Regenerate typically locks the player in place during the animation, which requires them to be stable until they finish channeling the heal, or until they willingly stop channeling the heal before it completes. This restriction has a few ways around it, one of which is that if you jump and use Regenerate on the same frame, you can actually start to channel Regenerate while airborne, and get some slight movement while continuing to channel the ability. This is used in a few specific instances during speedruns. As you can see here, it is used to get some extra swimming distance during the downswim towards dash. It can also be useful for healing up during tricky boss fights if you're low on HP and want to keep on the move. One quirk of Regenerate is that sometimes it takes just more than 1 energy to use, and as a result you might find that after using Regenerate, you may not be able to use an ability that it appears you have the energy for. And this could be due to this interaction with Regenerate. This is almost definitely not intended, but it's a part of the game, and I thought you should know. The most obvious use of Regenerate in speedrunning is to use it to damage boost. One area that heavily relies on Regenerate to damage boost is the swim path towards Silent Woods from Qualix Hollow. It's called Silent Swim. This is seen in the any % no out of bounds category. It allows the player to soak just enough damage that they get through the section without dying, which is no easy feat on its own. On top of that, the player must optimize the usage of Regenerate in order to ensure that they have enough energy to escape with a sentry jump when they exit Silent Swim. Otherwise, they'll have to start the entire swim over again, which means a massive loss of time. One of the least utilized tricks that's possible with Regenerate is that it can help to get through keystone doors the instant that they open, which allows for some really interesting RTA strats. When keystone doors first open, they are fully open for 1 frame, and then their animation plays out, restricting the player's movement for a bit. Using Regenerate and a keystone on the same frame skips the keystone animation, allowing for easier setup for the player to dash through the door on that single frame when the door is open. This trick is very difficult and it would take a lot of practice for this to become a run viable trick. Personally, I find it kind of amusing that Regenerate, an ability designed to reduce mobility during its use, can result in some of the fastest movement in the game. What I'm talking about is a wave dash, named as such because when executed, Ori seems to be waving goodbye to their starting location as they zoom on by. It is possible to use coyote frames to jump mid-air after ending the Regenerate channel during a wave dash. This allows the player to move more fluidly through sections of speedruns. Coyote time in platformers is the time after a player has walked off a ledge but is still able to perform a jump, much like the Wile E. Coyote floating mid-air after running off a cliff in the Looney Tunes cartoons. Other abilities can also be used in conjunction with wave dash, such as sentry jumps, to allow for some really slick movement. Wave dashes can be performed by facing a wall, dashing, and pressing Regenerate in the opposite direction before reaching the wall. Generally speaking, the closer you are to the wall when you start, the faster the wave dash. It's a bit tricky, but it's a must-learn skill for anyone who wants to run categories that include Regenerate in the route. Regenerate allows players to achieve things in the game that cannot happen in a casual playthrough. It also gives players with a need for speed that much desired zoom zoom. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a like and let me know in the comments what ability you want to see in the next skill spotlight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the Discord.